Captain Marcus Rivera stood in the observation deck of the orbital platform New Horizon, watching as the last of Earth's massive cargo haulers disappeared into the void. The planet below looked strangely empty now, its orbital traffic reduced to a trickle after months of the most ambitious evacuation in human history. The message from the Galactic Assembly had been unambiguous. By unanimous vote of all member species, humanity is hereby expelled from galactic civilization. All human presence must be withdrawn beyond the outer rim within one standard galactic year. Failure to comply will result in forcible removal. Dr. Amara Okafor approached Rivera, her tablet displaying the final evacuation statistics. "That's the last transport from Mumbai," she reported. 8,700,000,000 humans successfully relocated. "We actually finished ahead of schedule." Rivera nodded, though his expression remained grim. The vote hadn't come as a complete surprise. For decades, humanity had been the galactic community's problem child, too aggressive, too unpredictable, too willing to challenge established norms. The final straw had been the incident at Kepler 442, where human colonists had refused to evacuate when an ancient Xylani tomb was discovered on their world. "The Assembly expected us to beg," Rivera said quietly. "They thought we'd plead for reconsideration, maybe offer to reform our ways. Instead, humanity had simply said fine and started packing." The evacuation had been a logistical miracle. Every human colony, research station, and diplomatic outpost beyond the outer rim had been systematically emptied. But they hadn't just grabbed their personal belongings and fled. They had taken everything, every piece of technology, every research database, every cultural artifact. Most importantly, they had taken every human who wanted to leave, and surprisingly, that was nearly everyone. Commander Elena Zhao materialized in the deck's holographic communication array, transmitting from the bridge of humanity's newest deep space vessel. "Marcus, we just received confirmation from the Exodus fleet. All 1,237 ships are accounted for. The journey to the Void Territories begins in 6 hours. The Void Territories, a region of space so remote and resource-poor that no galactic civilization had ever bothered to claim it. It lay beyond the spiral arm's edge, in the empty darkness between galaxies. The Assembly had assumed it would serve as humanity's prison, a place where they could slowly decline into obscurity. They had gravely underestimated human adaptability. Dr. Okafor pulled up holographic displays showing the fleet's composition. "We've got everything we need," she said with growing excitement. "Manufacturing ships, research vessels, seed banks, genetic archives, digital libraries containing the sum of human knowledge. We're not just evacuating, we're transplanting our entire civilization." Rivera watched as the last orbital platforms around Earth powered down, their skeletal frameworks already being disassembled by automated systems. Even Earth itself was being stripped of anything useful. Humanity wasn't leaving behind gifts for their former galactic neighbors. The irony wasn't lost on him. The Assembly had voted to banish humanity because they were tired of dealing with human unpredictability and innovation. Now they were about to lose the very qualities that had made humans both troublesome and valuable. 6 months earlier, when the banishment vote had first been proposed, the Terran ambassador had stood before the Assembly and delivered what would become known as the farewell address. "You call us disruptive," Ambassador Kim Wei-Lin had said, her voice carrying across the great chamber. "You say we ask too many questions, challenge too many assumptions, refuse to accept, because that's how it's always been done, as a valid answer. You're absolutely right. We do all of these things, and now you won't have to deal with us anymore." The exodus had begun immediately. But it wasn't the desperate flight of refugees, it was the methodical relocation of a civilization that had decided it had outgrown its current neighborhood. As Rivera watched, The quantum fold drives of the advanced scout ships engaged, their exotic matter cores, bending space-time itself. These ships would establish beachheads in the void territories, setting up the infrastructure needed for humanity's new chapter. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Jackson from the communications console, "we're receiving a transmission from the assembly. They're asking us to reconsider. The Altarian delegate says they may have been hasty in their decision."
Rivera almost smiled. It had taken exactly 8 months for the galactic economy to feel humanity's absence. Human innovation had driven advances in everything from faster-than-light communication to exotic matter engineering. Human merchants had facilitated trade between species that had barely tolerated each other. Human diplomats had mediated countless conflicts with their peculiar gift for finding unexpected solutions. "Tell them," Rivera said, "that humanity appreciates their concern, but we're quite excited about our new opportunities." The last of Earth's population centers went dark as the final evacuation shuttles lifted off. The planet would remain, but it would be empty, a monument to a species that had chosen exile over submission. Dr. Okafor was studying long-range sensor readings from the void territories. "The advanced teams are reporting something interesting," she said. "They've detected artificial structures in the darkness between galaxies. Very old, very advanced. Whoever built them has been gone for millions of years." Rivera felt a familiar thrill of discovery. This was why humanity had been voted out of galactic civilization, their insatiable curiosity, their refusal to leave well enough alone. In the void territories, there would be no assembly to tell them what they could and couldn't investigate. "Prepare my ship," he ordered. "We have a new galaxy to explore." As the New Horizon powered up its quantum fold drive, Rivera took one last look at Earth. The planet that had birthed humanity was being left behind, but not abandoned. Automated systems would maintain it, preserve it, until the day humans might choose to return. If they ever chose to return. The fold drive engaged and space twisted around them. When it stabilized, they were at the edge of the void territories, surrounded by humanity's greatest adventure yet. 1,000 worlds waited to be discovered, ancient mysteries beckoned from the darkness, and an entire species had just traded the comfort of civilization for the infinite possibilities of the unknown. The Galactic Assembly had voted to banish Earth. Humanity had voted to embrace the exile. And somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, the real story was just beginning.